Everything that I have seen or read about the zone of special operations, which is intended as the first major plank of government crime fighting strategy, makes it appear to be more about a political strategy than about a crime fighting strategy. And I want to tell you the reasons I say this. Let us use the rollout of the decision to select Mount Salem in Montego Bay, St. James as the first community which is a zone of special operations, ZOSO. The Prime Minister did it with the absence of his National Security Minister. He has subsequent to that gone on tours, a major kind of political campaign. He did not even invite the councillor, who is the PNP representative in that area, to join them on the tour. No attempt at a broad community national stakeholdership. No church leaders, no opposition leader. It is simply a JLP political campaign strategy being utilized. And since that time, since the announcement, the community has been flooded by JLP political operatives. But let's go to the thing in itself. A zone of special operation, an instrument of law which gives the police powers almost to suspend civil liberties in an attempt to get its hand on crime and to bring some extreme, some spike in the homicide rate and in incidents of violence under control. So let's discuss the selection of Mount Salem. Mr. DCP Blake has indicated that there were 54 murders committed since the start of the year in that section of St. James. No accurate reading of police statistics has borne this out. In fact, the thing is counterintuitive. There are 2 media reports in the entire year of any violent conflict in Mount Salem. 2. It's counterintuitive. So why select Mount Salem? Let me give you some reasons. First of all, it is not a JLP community. And it is clear to me that crime-infested JLP community, which would have appointed and recommended themselves, had to be overlooked because the Prime Minister could not get his own people to agree. So they picked a soft target, a community represented by a PNP councillor. That's 1. 2, because it is not known for its high crime, that is, there is no public association between the community of Mount Salem and high crime, high incidence of homicide and violence. It is very easy to make up the story. It's almost like putting the bar quite low so it's easy to jump over it. So the government tells you that Mount Salem is a bad place. It occupies it for however long. Then it tells you it has succeeded. Nothing will have changed. You had no perception before. When it comes and tell you it has done what it did and achieved what it has, you would have no way of proving otherwise. But I tell you this, in the 48 or 72 hours since the announcement, the government has recovered about 10 knives, and elsewhere in Jamaica, 12 murders have been committed. So it seemed to me that this has very little to do with the driver of crime or a concentration of criminals necessarily. The people in the community are aggrieved and challenge the police on the basis of the choice. But the other thing that you must notice is that one of the things that goes along with the choice of a community as a zone of special operation are social intervention strategies. What the government means by that is that it's going to spend money like it did with the debushing program or with the used cars for the police to one of its operatives or some of its operatives. And what it intends to do or is likely to do is to soften it up, to give people who are pro-JLP access to state benefit, and by that dispirit people who are comrades. So the outcome that the government has in mind in the choice of Mount Salem is to be seen in the next election. It has nothing to do with containing high incidence of homicide. We must hold the government responsible, therefore, for the national security of this land and for the safety of citizens wherever they live. This is not that.